Central Bank of Nigeria projects 3% GDP growth in 2019. Federal government begins Port Harcourt refinery rehabilitation. Plus, Corporate Affairs Commission cost-friendly business registration exercise ends this month. Details of these and more on this episode of Business Express, reaching you on the network service of the NTA. I am Muplang Dakok. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, projects Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP, to rise to 3% in 2019 as against 1.93% recorded in 2018. Abolade Salami reports.
Financial players and stakeholders are gathered here to x-ray the economic performance and policies of the government in the last 3.5 years, with a view to projecting ways of enhancing a more robust economic growth and set policies that would drive micro and macroeconomic performances. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele, while setting policy agenda, noted that monetary policy rate at 14% will remain with an expected GDP growth rate of 3% in 2019.
The main post-election strategies should be: 1, consolidating on the growth; 2, implementing strategies and policies that will aggressively grow jobs on mass scale; and diversifying the base of the Nigerian economy away from relying on oil.
On the exchange rate policy, the Apex Bank boss said he expects the banks, in spite of pressures from the volatility in the crude oil markets, to maintain a stable exchange rates.
At the height of the drop in crude oil prices, our FX reserves had declined to 23.7 billion in October 2016. With the implementation of the tools mentioned above, the stock of our external reserve has recovered steadily and has risen to $44.8 billion as at March 19, 2019.
The economic policies of the federal government, Emefiele further said, helped to drive the promotion of sustainable economic development, which resulted in the establishment of import and exporters window and conservation of foreign exchange through the restriction of access of FX to 43 import items.
To discuss further on the contributions of women to the financial sector is the President, International Federation of Women Accountants, Moyaka Ngulube. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. We also have the Chairperson, Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, FCT Chapter, Mrs. Ijoma Uwenebu. Thank you very much for coming on the program. All right. So as the world celebrates women this month, would you say that women really contribute to the economic growth and development of the nation?
Yes, I would rather say that the impact of women in the development and growth of the economy has progressed over the years, and as we speak, we have better participation and more impactful effects of the contribution of women in the economic development of the whole world, not just Nigeria. Yes.
All right. Muyaka.
Yes.
What do you say about women's contribution to the economy?
As Ishoma has said, there's been steady progress. I think more women are coming up, taking up challenges that previously we would not see women endeavor in. And we have so many of them contributing in various sectors. We have women that are leading in some countries, like Zambia, for instance, in agriculture. They're doing huge things and contributing effectively to the economic development.
Okay. Yeah. So what more do you think needs to be done? What more do women have to do to contribute their quota to development?
Yes, I think to start with, I think women must continue pushing, and they should tap into whatever opportunities are being opened up. But I think much as we are willing to come to the party and put our contribution, there's still some gaps that need to be closed. We still need to have governments come up to put up initiatives that will enable women to access resources for them to be able to make the impact that they have to make. Yeah.
Okay. Ijoma, do you have anything to say on what women need to do?
Women, just like the before president has said, women need to come out more. Okay. The space out there is not going to be thrown or given to them. Women need to come out to compete and grab the opportunities that present themselves to them. And then it's also very obvious that when women are put in positions of authority, history has shown that they perform excellently well. So we need to make, the government needs to assist us, and women need to also help themselves by encouraging more women to come out from the little hole and the place where society and nature has placed them. So we need more women participation in politics, in government, in business, and educationally women need to just drop those inhibitions and come out, because the space is out there for them. It won't be given to them because they are women, it will be given to them because they merit it. So they need to grab it.
All right. McKinsey in 2017 said that if women participation can equal or level up to that of women, that at least about $38 trillion is going to be added to the world economy by 2025. What do you make of that?
That's a very correct assessment.
Okay.
Because the economy of the world, as we speak today, you find out that women are more in the informal sector. And that informal sector has no records, for us to compare the impact they are making in the economy. For a market, for instance, a market like Balogun market, you find out that more than 80% of those shops, bringing in millions, turning around money in the economy every day, are owned by women. You see very old women doing very big businesses in this country. But because there is no record to be able to give a statistical impact of what they are doing, you see that even if we do that check now, we will find out that that contribution may even be exceeded. So the report of McKinsey is very correct.
Okay. Yeah. So what's your take about that, talking about outside Nigeria, not just Nigeria?
Yes. So to start with, I think that statement is a realization or an attestation to say that there's indeed a gap. There's still a gap in terms of gender parity. Okay. And secondly, also that there's an untapped potential that women hold that has not really been brought to fruition. And in so doing, in bringing them on board, then we will see the impact and the changes and the contribution that women can bring to the economic development. And like you have asked, outside Nigeria, there are a lot of women that are doing excessive things that probably, as Ishoma said, are not really being recognized, maybe because of this little corners where they're making this impact, or because most of them are working in the formal sector. But we do have women that are working in the formal sector. For instance, in Zambia, I'll give an example of one of the women that has made it big in agriculture, who runs one of the biggest banana plantations in Zambia.
Wow.
She was in government before, she was a minister of finance before, and now she's gone into agriculture, and she's making an impact there. We have several women, some that have delved into mining, an industry that previously we would not think women would take up. So really, it's a true statement, and what we can call for as women is that as we keep fighting this gender gap, divide, this gender closure, we have to open up resources so that and put up systems that will capture all the information so that we can even get what is happening in the informal sector.
All right, let's talk about the theme, balance for better. How do you think women can key into this theme to contribute their quota to development?
Yes. So I think to start with, women must take up the opportunity.
Okay.
I think we are at a place now globally where everyone is talking about gender, everyone is looking for initiatives to ensure that the gender divide is closed. So it's up to us now as women to tap into this positive vibe that is going around globally, because we cannot sit back and let people fight a cause for us. We need to grab the opportunity, it has been given. We need to step up. Where we still feel constrained, we need to speak up more so that much can be done. Yes.
All right, so this balance, is it a women issue or a business issue? Okay, you want to comment on that?
Yes, I think the balance, you know, the sign is balance for better.
Okay.
It's actually a business issue. It's not just a women issue.
Okay.
It's about creating a gender balance in government. It's about gender balance in the boardroom. It's about gender balance in media reportage of the activities of women. We're talking about this informal sector. It's not out there because the reportage is not really balanced. So the theme for this year is about striking a balance. Let's balance the number of employees that are men and women. Let's balance the number of young children that are involved in issues. Let's not exclude the feminine gender because they are female. Let's exclude them because they are not competent. So if you look at the balance for better issue, if you refer yourself to even when we were in primary school, secondary school, the performance of girls most of the time, you see them topping the class. So the balance for better is preaching.
It's a business
yes,
issue,
it's preaching in the business world.
Okay.
Let's balance the gender.
All right. So let's talk about your society for women accountants.
Okay.
What's the percentage of women to men accountants in Nigeria? And then how can you bridge that gap?
Okay,
how can you meet up the number?
Okay.
What
Thank
are you doing
actually?
actually?
And as we speak, as at today, women form about 30% of the population of members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, both those who are fellows and associates, and is a huge improvement. When the Society of Women Accountants came up 40 years ago, we had less than 30 women as chartered accountants in Nigeria, but today we have over 12,000 women who are chartered accountants, and the gap continues to close up. We may not meet up and have a 50-50 balance, but we can also see that even in the presidency of ICANN, you have 2 women who are deputy vice presidents. So in the next 2 years, you will see a woman being the ICANN president and another woman taking the opposition after her.
All right, thank you. Can you give us just very briefly what you're doing outside Nigeria to add more women to that fold?
All right. So in addition to being the president of IFA, I am the founder and the national coordinator for the Forum for Zambia Women Accountants.
Okay.
And what we are doing to bring women to the table is that within the forum, we've created a mentorship program. And this mentorship program, we are targeting members to develop the younger female accountants to take up leadership positions. And we are also going to schools to mentor young girls. Just today, there's actually an activity where we have visited one province and we are speaking to schoolgirls to lure them to even take up the accountancy profession.
All right. Thank you very much. That's where we're going to stop this discussion. I would like to say a very big thank you to Moyaka Ngulabe for joining us on the program. Thank you very much. All right. And Ijoma Ugunebo, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
Short-term bias for gold looks negative. Let's check out prices of commodities across the globe. President Muhammadu Buhari says the National Livestock Transformation Plan designed by his administration is expected to put an end to lingering farmers and herders conflict and at the same time boost the livestock subsector of the economy. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Audu Ogbe, who represented the president at the takeoff of the grazing and nomad settlement, a component of the plan in Niger State, says the federal government will generate more than 21 trillion naira under the program in the next 10 years. Musa Babaliu has details.
It is a 10-year development plan designed by the federal government towards boosting the livestock subsector of the economy. The plan showed that farm settlement, grazing and water drinking point will be established. The settlements will also be equipped with medical facility that will cover both the nomads and their animals, with a school for the education of their children.
They will settle if their children are in school, their cows are safe, they have grass and water, and they are protected from rustlers. They begin to add more value to the economy, and they will live longer.
Niger is the first state to key into the program, with the government earmarking 31,000 hectares for the program.
The idea was also conceived based on the directive of Mr. President, and we discovered that what we need to do first is to build social infrastructures, to build the confidence of these people. And I think by that, the state government started to wage in, and we try as much as well to build some of the infrastructure.
To expatiate on the economic benefits of the federal government's livestock transformation plan, I have in the studio the Advisor Agriculture Interventions Coordination, Office of the Vice President, Dr. Andrew Kwasari. Thank you for coming on Business Express today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So let's begin by you telling us about the National Livestock Transformation Plan. What exactly is it about?
The National Livestock Transformation Plan is a policy strategy crafted by the Buhari administration and developed over the last 11 months under the guidance of the Vice President, working with 2 ministers, Minister of Agriculture and Interior, and 10 governors, created the NEC Committee, the National Economic Council Committee on Farmer Herder Crisis. This committee is further chaired by the governor of Ebonyi State. So the committee went around the affected states and prioritized the most affected states, 7 of them: Adamawa, Benue, Kaduna, Taraba, Plateau, Nasarawa, and Zamfara. Now, having worked with the communities that have been affected by the farmer herder crisis, the committee realized that it's basically a conflict around competition for resources of land, pasture, and water. This has further been complicated by our livestock and human population growth, which has been growing rapidly. In addition, there is the issue and impact of climate change, and this has also been further complicated by ethnic and religious challenges or bigotry and political undertones. So how is this plan going to help livestock development? So simply what it will do is that over 10 years we need a long-term policy strategy. So this plan has been crafted so that in the next 10 years we achieve 2 major milestones. A, transform the way livestock is being produced to a more efficient and value chain driven production system, and achieve peaceful coexistence in the communities where we have conflicts between pastoralists and sedentary crop farmers. So these we will achieve by developing, by implementing a process that has 5 key supporting pillars around conflict resolution, human capital development, humanitarian relief or compensation, as you may call it, justice and peace. How can we restructure the justice system, the policing system, and to, above all, allow the communities to take lead. And this is what comes out clearly in the back and forth that we have had with all the communities that have been affected in this crisis.
So Nigeria's livestock sector is what they say about 1 trillion naira However, experts say that we can have more than that.
That's correct.
So how is this plan going to, how do you really think the plan will be able to help us achieve that over 1 trillion naira?
Yes. By and large, this plan,
yes.
So if implemented as designed, we will achieve peace. And once we have achieved peace, we will also achieve a more effective and efficient way of producing livestock, particularly cattle.
Oh.
And what is the plan going to do? The plan has tracks. So it has a ranching track, which is not known to Nigerians. So we have pastoralists moving around with cattle. The plan sets out to train them on how to ranch. So there will be a ranching pilot that teaches them to adopt over the 10-year period, while supporting immediately the non-ranching component that deals with just providing feeding and watering points around the routes going to the grazing reserves and out of it. And then there's the component, non-ranching component too, that tries to create a kind of more settled environment where we hear of the Ruga model, to create a support where production will be close to the base of where the owners of the cattle are within the gazetted grazing reserve. So if we just do this, in addition to with settlement comes breed improvement, getting cattle that gives us more beef or cows that give us more milk. But before then, you would have even seen more yield increase on our normal cattle today if we can just move them to provide efficient water and pasture. And then you have also a rub-off for the crop producing communities that are around here, around these conflict areas. Once there is peace, there will be more sustainable production and increase in yield of soybean and corn that can further develop our livestock subsector.
Really nice. But let's talk about the figure. You're looking at 10 years from now.
That's correct.
Can you peg a figure to it? Above 1 million naira. Do you have any specific amount that we are likely going to make above 1 million naira in the next 10 years?
In fact, the plan as it is today will generate, not when you say 1 million, it's not
1 trillion.
Today, the livestock, the losses that has been quantified by this conflict is over 5 trillion.
Okay.
So the livestock subsector, if this plan is implemented as designed, and we can settle our pastoralists to give us basic increase in beef and milk, and then the related value addition, because there's a value addition component to it, we can more than generate the total losses of the 5 trillion, not only 1 trillion, we easily in the next 10 years from this plan.
Okay, so let's talk about beef in the country.
That's right.
Yeah, Nigeria is one of the biggest producers of beef. However, the cost of beef in the country is high. Do you think that this plan is going to help bring down the cost of beef?
Of course. Okay.
And then the value of beef also?
Yes. Okay, first of all, you talk about cost of beef and the quality of beef, if that's what you mean by value.
Value,
okay,
quality.
Quality of beef. So today, we eat about the worst kind of beef and we pay the highest price for it. Why? Because cost of production is very high. With this plan, if we can just easily get our cattle settled in a more sizable number that can help them increase the efficiency of adding up weight, which is taking away today the trek from one location to another, and it takes about 4 years to reach table slaughter weight. You can easily do that within 2 years to 2.5 years. So this will reduce the cost of production because you have now created efficiency, and with more effective way of producing whatever product comes price reduction. So we see that Nigerians will get more affordable but better quality beef that you can grade by age, by fat content, and by everything. But we need a system of bringing these qualities and quality and standardization in place, and this has to do with how do we produce the beef that we eat today. So modernizing the production system brings naturally these desired benefits to the consumer.
All right. If I were to have land,
that's correct,
for grass production.
That's right.
Do you think I'll be able to key into this plan? Just very briefly.
Very easily. You can key into this plan. You know why?
Yeah.
There's nothing that stops Nigeria from beating Kenya. In Kenya today, you can grow pasture or fodder from anywhere and sell to someone that has a dairy operation or beef operation. So the same thing, if today we can create that economy of scale by aggregating cattle in a specific location, that will lead to creating market for inputs. Grass or fodder being one of the key inputs that you need to grow more efficiently the cattle. So once the cattle are settled, that creates market, and you can grow your grass anywhere in Nigeria and supply easily. And I'm looking in the next 2 to 3 years where you can sell grass online, just as you can order anything from Jumia and Co. You can go in and order, I need 10 kg of hay, 10 kg of fodder, and it will be delivered. We just need to create the market.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew Kwasari, for talking to us about this plan on livestock today on Business Express.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
All right. So that does it on today's episode of the program. Remember, all episodes are on NTA YouTube channel, NTA/live. You can also reach us through our Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now. Don't forget to use the hashtag BizX showing on your screen. Until we come your way again, have a beautiful weekend. I am Muplang Dakok.